Would you like to learn from those that are taking their lives, their businesses, and their passions to the next level? Best-selling author of Speakeasy and master connector Lou Diamond is here to connect you to some of the most inspiring and amazing people on this planet. Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
Welcome, everyone, to another spectacular episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. I'm your host, Lou Diamond, and today on Thrive Loud, we have someone who is a problem solver. She's had over a decade of experience with the federal government, where she served in operational and strategic roles in the U.S. and abroad. She has created something called the Tullman Community Ventures, which is the operational and philanthropic, that word is hard to say, is the operational and philanthropic arm of the Tullman Family Office to realize the potential of all Americans through targeted investments in philanthropic causes and community efforts that help people live healthier and more prosperous lives. One of those areas is an amazing program called Let Music Fill My World, which she's going to talk all about here on this program. Thrive Loud listeners, very excited to bring you the Cayley Tullman to Thrive Loud. Cayley, welcome to Thrive Loud. How are you?
Very good. So happy to be here today. Thank you.
Cayley's coming to us from Northern Virginia. She is very focused on a very timely initiative, as this episode is coming out right at the time that we need to talk about it. So what I kind of want to do is talk a little bit about the philanthropic efforts that you guys are doing. I want to understand how that became the focus of what you wanted to do. And then from there, we'll talk into this amazing program that you're working on right now. That sound fair? I want to kind of understand how this became your gig.
That sounds great. Well, you mentioned I was in government, and for my whole career, I was focused on how to keep the United States safe and strong. And I had a very outside-in perspective. I mean, being abroad, you see a lot of the challenges that other countries have. And at least for me, I was really reminded how fortunate we are here in the U.S. However, when I came home after my last assignment in a war zone, I was really reminded that the U.S. has a lot of things that we need to continue to solve. We have a lot of disparity. We have under-resourced communities. We have schools that don't have adequate funding. And I felt really motivated to try to problem solve from the inside out. And I refocused. A few years ago, I built and am now running our family office. And Tullman Community Ventures, as you said, is really the operational part, where we go into community and we try to partner with existing organizations to problem solve in a different way. We try to kind of free people up from the existing processes and systems that they might be under that might not allow them to think out of the box, and really try to do things differently and better for the people that they are serving. So that's a little bit about our family office and what brought me to that. There's a lot of things that we focus on, but the one project in particular that we'll discuss a little bit today has to do with music, which
Yes.
Everyone loves.
So let's talk about it. Let Music Fill My World. How did this program come into your world? How did it all get started? I think everyone would love to hear the story. There's some pretty famous musicians who are behind it, and I think it's a really important topic that you guys are focusing on.
Yeah, there are some amazing people that have partnered with us on this effort, which is such a testament to music. What inspired us to do this? Personally, I felt really motivated to look for opportunities to bring people together. I think now more than ever, people find themselves in these siloed communities, and there's lots of barriers that we put up. We see people as different and other, and I think people feel really lonely as a result of that. You can see that now with the global loneliness epidemic and with rising numbers of anxiety and depression in youth. So in music, we started in Chicago, music and the arts in particular, but for this project called Let Music Fill My World, we started on the west side of Chicago in an inner city school called Farragut Career Academy. And I have an amazing partner named John Ondrasik, who is a singer-songwriter. You may know him as Five for Fighting. He's written some incredible songs, especially lately, so which we can talk more about. I mean, a truly visionary community member and musician who uses his voice to create connection and I think really important awareness of what's happening around the globe. So John and I went to Farragut Career Academy, and the whole goal of this smaller effort was to get a full-time music teacher at that school. They used to have one, they lost funding, and now the kids have no more music. And John went in, we met with them every week, talked about all sorts of things related to music, songwriting, the music industry. What are the other jobs that people can do if they love music, but they're not a singer-songwriter? And the kids, all by themselves, wrote every single lyric to a super powerful song called "Let Music Fill My World." And I hope everyone will check it out. It will get stuck in your head. It is. We are constantly singing it by accident in our house, which is a really good sign. And these are just normal kids. These are high schoolers, 17, 18-year-olds. And they recorded the song. We made a music video. And then we provided the funding for a full-time teacher for 3 years at Farragut Career Academy. And you know that you're partnered with a good friend, a good colleague, when they say something to you like, "This is really great. You should feel good about this, but I think we can do more," right? It's like someone who says like, "Good job, kudos," but like, we can't stop now, can we? And that's what John said. And we decided to launch this nationally because what we realized is while there are so many existing organizations that are in this music space, there's not a lot of collaboration. And they're all very focused on really important but kind of narrow interests within the music community. And so we thought, what can we do to use music to inspire people and connect people? How can we be somewhat of a backbone organization to connect all of these existing organizations so that people aren't working alone and we can do more partnered together? And then lastly, how do we bring more awareness to the importance of music? I mean, the research on music in schools is so strong. It's not like some budding area of research where like you just don't know, is music good for kids or not? I mean, we can talk more about the data later, but it is so powerful, the importance of music to social and emotional development, to academic performance, to participation in class, attendance in school. I mean, like it's across the board. So in any case, that is a little bit about the effort, and I can tell you more about the details of it, but it's all about having people share their music story, which is what some of these incredible artists are doing. And also, athletes and politicians, they love music too. Every human, has a story with music, and we want to highlight those voices.
We'll get to the specifics about what this offering is about and how we're going to highlight it and what everyone needs to do, which we will definitely make a push here. I just think I literally was running through movies and social initiatives in my head from Mr. Holland's opus, the importance of making sure music remains a key part of budgets across all the different schooling systems that they can, where they can do it. I keep thinking about the Grammys has dollars that go to making sure they can give instruments to kids who can't get access to it. Music, is the universal language and what connects us all. We joke on this show all the time. I will ask this question of you in a bit, although I have a feeling I know what the answer will be. We always try and intertwine music into every episode that we have and making sure that we can connect our listeners to that. So it is such an essential part of it. I want to almost say, what do you think this world would be if you didn't have a program like yours, or there was no music out there? I would love to go on to that side because I want to hit the pain point, because I think the world needs to understand why we need this program we're going to talk about more than anything, because the stats, the data, that everything you started to allude to, but there's even more to it, isn't there?
Yeah. Gosh, there's so many things that I want to say in response to what you asked. The first is, it's not just about our program, although I hope that through our program, we can bring more attention to the importance of music across the country and the world. So Let Music Fill My World and the Music Matters Challenge, very excited about it, but it's one of many programs that I think we can all use. We can piece them together and do so much more to bring music to youth and everyone in America. we asked that same question when we were working with the students at Farragut Career Academy, and we've got some video of them responding to it. And things that they said, and then I'll answer you from my perspective, is that it would be sad, that they would feel lonely, that they wouldn't know how to use their voice. I mean, some of these young people who participated in our program, one of them named Miguel, and he wouldn't mind me sharing this because he shared it himself, and I think it's now up on our site, is he talked about not feeling like his voice mattered before this program. And I mean, this is 6 weeks of us working with these students. It certainly transformed us, but to hear this young man who's now in college talk about feeling like his voice really mattered and that he felt heard, I mean, that's huge. So what would the world be without music? I think it would be a place where you always had to use the right words to connect with people. And the thing that's so special about music is you not only don't have to speak the same language, but you can connect with someone that you're so different from in many other respects through music. Maybe you completely disagree about, some controversial issue that's in politics now, but you both might have been at the same concert last weekend, or you both might be just loving Taylor Swift's new album. So there's something that you can connect on through music. And for me personally, music was something that connected me with my family. In my family, we really relaxed when we were listening to music and playing music. You could be free. Your role mattered, even if you were just playing an instrument on the side of a box, right? Like, you don't have to have a bunch of big skills, but you were just as important as every single other person in the group, and it felt like you belonged. So I think the world would be very sad without music, and I think the value of music to me, in addition to all the incredible research about academic performance and social and emotional development, is connection. And I think if you asked anyone today, what do they think is really important? They would think, well, we got to understand each other better. We got to be able to disagree better, to talk better, to be kinder, and to understand one another. How can we do that? Well, it's not a panacea, but music is one of the ways we can do it.
We've got a cool program that's currently going on right now. I want you to talk about it. Share with the listeners what this program and this contest or competition, if you were, you have an entry that you can actually get stuff in. Why this was the way you decided to do it, how the group did, and what the end result is, and in addition, we'll save in the plug section how people can potentially contribute or do other things that they want to do. But talk about this specific timeliness, because at the time this episode's coming out, we wanted to make sure this was right, very close to the deadline, to make sure that we get everyone to hear this so they can participate and get involved.
Thank you. So the Music Matters Challenge runs through May 31st. And we will award 2 prizes to 2 separate winners. And we did this very intentionally. So we've got an individual winner and a school winner. And we made this choice because we wanted to make sure that young people in school, students, really felt like they had a chance to win a huge prize. So the school winner will win a prize of $25,000 for a school grant. And that can go towards music programming, and the school can make that determination. The individual winner gets a $10,000 cash prize. And they also get the opportunity to participate with us to select the next school, like Farragut Career Academy, that will get a full-time music education teacher. So there's kind of a lot going on. And what that means is that everyone has a chance. If you're an individual, if you're a school, if you're a teacher at a school, if you are someone that loves music, if you just have a creative idea, what you need to do is a rendition of the Let Music Fill My World song, which is up on the website, letmusicfillmyworld.com, very simple. And then tell us your music story. So we've got people that are doing just a couple minutes where they say, this is my connection with music. This was a mentor that mattered a lot to me, that really made a difference in my life. And then you do a rendition of Let Music Fill My World. And you don't have to sing. You don't have to play an instrument. You can do what you want to let your voice be heard. So kind of the world is your oyster. And we've been seeing such incredible renditions of Let Music Fill My World so far. I mean, it is blowing my mind to see what people come up with. So really be creative, and that's what we're excited to see up until May 31st. You are muted for me. I'm so sorry.
I'm going to do that again.
Oh,
My apologies. Listeners don't need to know what's going on. There was a lot of noise in the background here. Share with the listeners all the places that this can be. Again, the URL, we'll put it in the show notes one more time so they know where it is and they can get to it. Just not while you're driving, people, when you're listening, but when you stop and go look at it. Tell us exactly where it is and where they can learn all about Let Music Fill My World and everything. Websites, URLs, go.
So letmusicfillmyworld.com. Letmusicfillmyworld.com. Very simple. Just go there. You can get all of the other details from there. I don't want to overcomplicate it. We're on the socials. I don't have social media, so I'm not the right person to ask about all the different sites. But the point is, if you go to letmusicfillmyworld.com, we've got our Instagram, our other details. So you can find out more about our overall effort. And you can also find more out about the Music Matters Challenge, exactly what you need to do to participate, which, despite the long description I gave, is actually very simple and very easy. And, as we were talking about before, you can see some pretty well-known people doing this as well. And it just took them a couple minutes. I mean, will.i.am really blew it out of the park. I mean, he did his during a Black Eyed Peas concert in Paris with 40,000 people. So, it might be hard to reproduce that, but he's one of a kind. So, he's just there to inspire all of us to do something creative too.
Cayley, were you musical as a young person? Was there an instrument or a song? Were you a singer? And how did music affect you personally?
I love music. I have the most vivid memories of my family where people would be singing and playing guitar, and music to me, it has just an incredibly positive and nostalgic feeling. It really takes me back. I've shared a story before about my uncle Stan, who had a really huge influence on me as a young person and was very musical, was an incredibly kind and gentle person. And as an adult, looking back now, I think he really used music to express himself, and he struggled. He struggled with addiction and mental health, and he's no longer with us. And I think music for him was this incredible outlet where it made him feel whole. And I know that music does that for other people. I've seen it. I know it personally. It can calm you. It can make you excited. It can make you kind of angry, but then it gets you through the anger, right? It can help you work through really strong emotions. So I love to sing, but just for myself. So don't ask me to sing.
We won't ask you to do that here.
I am a amateur guitar player. I'm learning and really loving it. But it's most fun to see our 6-year-old playing the guitar because it's as big as her body, and it's right here. I'm looking at it. The guitar, not my 6-year-old. And I think just seeing young people find their potential through music and what they can create right in that moment. I mean, what a cool feeling.
I love it. All right, we're going to do the speed round here at the Fun Street round for you, Cayley, to really make you part of the Thrive Loud family now. So we'll start off with one that we always ask just to get you rolling here. Do you have an all-time favorite movie that you like to watch over and over again?
Well, my most recent favorite movie that we just watched is Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh,
And
very good.
the reason in particular why I liked it, I love history.
Yeah.
And this was a part of our history that I did not know.
Yeah.
And then I read the book afterwards, which, was even more fascinating and horrifying. But what's so important is to tell these stories of our checkered past and of our history. Because if we don't tell those stories, we can never learn from them.
Yeah.
History will repeat itself. And sometimes it does. So I loved the incredible telling of that story. And although, we watched it in 2 sittings, it's something I continue to think about. And the book was incredible. So that's what's on my mind for favorite movie.
It was it's amazing. Some of the largest names in petrol were there, and the book really featured it when they were like auctioning off the different plots
Getty.
of land. Yeah, Getty, Sinclair, and all of those. Yeah, they were all
It's
involved.
amazing. Well, and then kind of the birth of the FBI, and then you
Yep.
think like, law enforcement being introduced at a federal level and how
Yes.
that happened and was not trusted at the local level. I mean, I think we're seeing some similar patterns of mistrust and authority now for some different reasons, but there's some through paths. So it's important, I think, to take in movies like that. It wasn't an easy one to watch, but it was really well done.
All right, we're going to do what's called the Speakeasy Pub Crawl. It's a little speed round here. We're going to ask a whole bunch of questions. We're going to go to our favorite stops that all relate to Cayley here. The first one is a little bit of a softball because we already know the answer, but I think we know where it's going to go here. Is there a song of late that you keep hearing or one that's your jam? I think we could pretty much put that question aside. Let music fill my world is pretty much in your head all day long.
It's so good. It's so good. And you know what? It's only gotten better as I've listened to other people do renditions of it because they take it like kind of in their own direction. I'm like, man, I never thought about it that way. Like, it's so cool. So I have to say, let music fill my world. It's amazing.
Awesome. Favorite food that's not a dessert?
You really threw me for a loop there. The dessert one would have been easy. Okay.
Don't worry, it's coming. That's why we break it up in this way. So.
Okay. My favorite food is Thai food, and this is what I do. I order Penang curry and pad Thai, and I mix them together in one bowl. And what I don't understand is why that's just not its own dish.
I think because they probably make more money by charging you twice on each one. That's probably the reason, Cayley.
Yeah, then I order 2 entrees, and I just really go for it.
Favorite dessert?
Ice cream, vanilla ice cream.
Gotcha. An activity you wish you did more of?
Tennis.
Okay.
I feel I when I was growing up, I was a big athlete, but I never played life sports. And as an adult, I learned a little bit of tennis. I feel like it's such a great life sport, and it's one that I wish I was doing regularly.
Like it. An activity you wish you did less of?
Email. Like nonstop.
A new activity, new to you, that you've recently tried, that you like so much you want to tell everybody else to try?
Oh, gosh. Well, I've never been into gardening. I'm not a very patient person. And I think you have to have a real patience and appreciation for gardening. However, I've recently gotten into it. And we've been doing it as a family to the point that I got my own gardening gloves.
You go.
So it's official.
You got the green thumb or gardening glove?
No, I think still no. You don't want to see what some of the plants around here look like. It's not great, but I'm working on it.
2 more questions. One is, if I could snap my fingers and Cayley Tullman could be anywhere in the world, where is she?
Martha's Vineyard.
Oh, very nice. And final question. If you had one dream for this program that you guys are doing with TCV, your Tullman Community Ventures, and this initiative, obviously, around the Let Music Fill My World, what's the big dream? What's the BHAG, the big, hairy, audacious goal for this program?
It is very simple. That every single school in America will have a music teacher. Right now, there's 4 million students without music, 4 million.
Amazing.
And they're the students that you would think. They're in historically underfunded areas and communities that are not as represented from a funding perspective. And it is a real shame that we're not providing this creative outlet for young people, any young person. But especially young people that are experiencing trauma and having challenges in life, and this could be really helpful to them.
Cayley Tullman, Let Music Fill My World. Hey, thank you so much for what you're doing. An amazing program. We will get the word out here, and we will tell everybody who's listening to the show to do the same. Spread the message out, enter into the competition to the end of May, and continued support. And thank you so much for what you're doing, Cayley. Really appreciate you coming on today.
Thanks for having me, and hope everyone checks out Let Music Fill My World.
To all our listeners out there, keep moving onward and upward, and remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Check us out on the web at thriveloud.com and follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at Thrive Loud. And check us out on the Good Pods app at Thrive Loud, where you can follow, listen, and connect directly to Lou and all of the Thrive Loud episodes. Thanks for listening.